Good day and welcome to my very first YouTube video. My name is Devan Fourie and this is Our Voice. Today we will be discussing why the crime statistic in South Africa is so high and why the idea of killing farmers is spreading so rapidly. I want to say that I base my arguments on statistics, but that the interpretation thereof is purely my own opinion. You can choose if you want to agree or disagree with my opinion. In fact, I encourage you to leave a comment if you disagree with one of my stances. Now, just for a little bit of background. According to the United Nations Office of Drugs and Crime, when it comes to intentional homicide victims, South Africa is ranked 9th in the world and 2nd in Africa. This excludes suicide, by the way. And this is how it looks like on a map. Now I realize crime isn't exclusively homicides, so here is a list of the countries with the highest crime index, and South Africa is 3rd. Now the question is, what is causing this? The first misconception that I want to address is the idea that absolute poverty is to blame. Absolute poverty is that which we refer to when speaking of general poverty. This graph shows the GDP per capita, the average money per person of South Africa, as well as for countries that have more poverty but way less crime. We can see that there is no correlation. Now you may ask, why are the politicians tying poverty to crime? The answer is that they are referring to relative poverty. In simple terms, how much richer are the rich people than the poor people? This is measured in a Gini index. Can you guess where South Africa lies on the Gini index? At the very top. We are the most unequal country in the whole world. Now this graph makes sense, right? Now what does relative poverty have to do with the crime in South Africa? According to the world-renowned professor in psychology, Jordan Peterson, the reason for this is that the people in the lower end of the distribution, that's to say the poor people, feel like they won't be able to climb to the top of the distribution, and they then turn to aggression to make their mark on the world. If you have someone that can see that they are very low in the distribution and you make them believe that they have no means of reaching the top of the distribution, they will turn to violence. Our problem is the government knows that. Now the next question is, whose fault is it for this inequality? But does it really matter to know the answer? Will the answer change anything? This question cannot be answered, and trying to find the answer will only make our people more divided. The politicians know this, and they use it to gain power and dominance over the people. We will discuss this in a future video if more people than my parents decide to subscribe to my YouTube channel. They tell the population that the rich people are the reason for them being poor, and it works great because it appeals to these people psychologically. Our politicians are climbing into the minds of the uneducated and using them as puppets to further their agenda, regardless of how devastating the results can be. The politicians that advocate violence does not want poor people to escape poverty. They just want to climb to the top of the economic hierarchy. They don't want people to be educated, because educated people can see through their agendas. Therefore, they burn schools and universities. They will make up reasons why the people should despise the education system because of inequality. #free education is one of these strategies. We cannot make education free in South Africa because we cannot make teachers and lecturers work for free. And we don't have the money to pay them because these people are stealing your education money. Instead of saying that education must be free, why not lift people out of poverty so that they can pay for their own education? I know the reason. Because they don't want people to be educated. They want to tear down these systems so that they can have total control of the minds of the uneducated. The money that Zuma stole could have bought 450 school buses. It should be more like #stolen education. The mind-boggling thing is that in this day and age, the EFF can be advocating communism. Do you know where communism ever worked in the history of mankind? Never. Mao Zedong's China killed 65 million people and the country had to be rebuilt from dust. Joseph Stalin's Russia killed 20 million people, all in the name of communism. And the scary thing is, the EFF is starting to do the same thing. They are supporting the killing of white people because it is a popular political stance in South Africa at the moment. But don't think that they will stop there. And never ever assume that someone like Julius Malema is a stupid person. He's an extremely clever man, and if you disregard him, it will come back and bite you. The people must realize that someone like Julius Malema and his BLF counterpart doesn't want to improve South Africa, they just want to sit on top of the ashes. The best thing that we can do in South Africa is fund schools. We must ensure that our people are being educated regardless of race, religion, or culture. And on a final note, when you don't consume the media, you're uninformed. When you consume the media, you're misinformed. Congratulations and thank you for making it this far in my YouTube video. Please consider liking and subscribing to enable me to make more of these videos. Also, consider leaving a comment so that we can get a discussion going. See you awesome people next week.